So this is the story about that time an apartment exploded at a hotel in Portugal where I was staying and I didn't wake up. So before I talk about that, I just wanted to tell you how I ended up there because it's it kind of adds to the story. So I was around maybe 18, 19 or something like that. And I had just moved from my hometown up to, or to Stockholm, which is the capital of Sweden. And I had done a couple of different bar jobs, coffee shops, but I ended up working at this coffee shop in a really cool area in Stockholm. And it was a night coffee shop. And the owner that hired me, she was the owner, she created the coffee shop, and a lot of taxi drivers used to come there and have a chat at night. So I actually worked by myself at night. Now, when I look back at it, I can't believe I did that. I didn't have a tease or anything. I think she had something behind the counter. She's like, oh, just use this one in case, something happens. There was no security. But anyway, I was serving coffee. I made, like they had porridge you have to make for the morning. It was pretty busy, and a lot of really cool taxi drivers came in, and I kind of felt safe with them coming in because they were familiar faces. Anyway, so the reason why I went to Portugal is because I quit this job, and why I did that was because the owner's daughter, who was kind of in a cult, like a sect, she took over, and I was the only person that was not a part of their sect organization, and she really tried to bully me out of there, and she was pretty nasty, and she started to hire all these weird people from their so-called church, and the taxi drivers or the locals that came in there, some of them thought I was a part of it as well. And because these girls that started to work there, they tried to recruit everyone that came in. And it was just kind of a weird time. And at the same time as well, when I was there, I encountered a lot of people that had been brainwashed and been in different cults. So I started to, by my own curiosity, I started to read a lot of literature, a lot of books about people that been through different cults and left and all that. So it was kind of an interesting time. And on top of that, it was really hard to find something at that time, like a place to rent. I finally found a couple of blocks away a small tiny apartment, and that I started to rent. And around this time there were no phones, like mobile phones really. This was way back when you had those phone booths, and I used to call my mom, and from the phone booths, that's pretty much the only communication. And so I rented this apartment, and I was kind of desperate, and it was so cute. And but the owner said, the guy that was here before you, he bailed, so he left all this stuff. So I moved in, and the entrance had got all this, she had changed the locks, and it previously been kind of pushed in, I think, but she secured it, and he had left a couple of chainsaws, some axes. This is crazy talking about this now. Couple of axes, and he started to get all this mail to his mailbox, and I just got so tired. I opened a couple of them, and he owed $10,000-$20,000 to all these different banks, and I was like, oh my God, I have to get out of here. I remember though, like all those axes or chainsaws. I had a couple of mates that wanted them, like, oh, just take this. And there was this whole book. I think he was a part of the Scientology, because there was heaps of books of Dr. Hubbs, who's the creator of the Scientology. And I also I couldn't put a phone in because he had run away from that as well. So anyway, so that's a part of the story. And so it kind of got me curious about different people beliefs and all that as well. And I wanted to investigate, like, what drives people doing certain things and believe in certain things and follow different groups. Anyway, so I was working there and I was like, I have to get out of this coffee shop. So one day I was walking past this store, and there is a company in Sweden called Gudrun Sjödén, and they do like really colorful clothes for every like kind of artistic style, and they do cater for younger people now. Anyway, so I went past there and they had a sign like, oh, we need some models to go to Portugal for 2 weeks. And they photograph a lot of normal people, so to speak, and I just went in and applied, and I got the job. So I just quit that coffee shop. They were probably relieved they could recruit someone from the group. So I went, I took 2 weeks, and I went, and I actually made as much money as I would have done in 2 months on this coffee shop. So I was pretty happy. So I was like, I'll just worry about things later on. They were so nice. The owner was there, Gudrun Sjödén, and her husband, and they had a photography assistant guy as well. He was really lovely. And we were another 4 models, like kind of normal people. And one, she was kind of a professional model, I think. I stayed with her in the hotel room. So we went to Algarve, and in Portugal, the southern part, and that's when I learned about fado music, which is the traditional music. It was so beautiful, and like sandy beaches. It was so lovely to see that, and I got to see the orange farms and all these medieval villages. And we photographed pretty much every day, and we had a break once in a while. But one night we had a break, and we stayed at this hotel, and I think me and my friend, or the other model, we stayed on the 8th floor. And we had the day after, we could start later around 1, 2. So we had a late start. So we actually went out partying that night and got pretty smashed. So we came home and were so tired. And that night, they had gas in these apartments there. So we were around the 8th floor, and around maybe 6 or floor 5 down from us, a little bit on an angle. This couple had come home, and there was no smell of the gas at that time. So they have left the gas on, came home, and then lit a cigarette. And when I woke up in the morning, they had knocked on our door, and I did not wake up at all. I'm a really heavy sleeper, except from now when I have kids. I just wake up when they just breathe. But this is a different time. I woke up and I was like, I told my friend, oh my God, it's black. The whole pool is black. There were furniture and bits and pieces and everything. So this couple downstairs, they come home, lit a cigarette, and bang, the whole apartment just kind of blew up. But what I wanted to share with the gratitude about this is that they were nothing really, I don't think nothing super bad happened to them. They were bandaged and all that. They did survive, and I'm so grateful for that. And also, it was kind of a reminder to live life one day at a time, I think. And and I would love to go back there one day. So that's my story for today. Thanks for listening. Bye.